1st. Happy May Day. Honestly, the best thing about this day is that I had 2 Starbucks iced coffees. It's like the greatest thing to start my day. But, I'm currently about to head back into the city and go shower up, go run some errands. I can't talk fully about this. At least I don't feel like I can yet. It's still fresh, 24 hours fresh, like not even less, it's less than 24 hours fresh. And all I can really say is that, well, throughout this stream I might mention little bits here and there, but really I feel like all I can mostly say right now is just that biggest thing is I'm okay. My head's been hurting from this, like from getting punched in the face and in the lip and in the forehead and on the top of the head. My it was hurting earlier. I took some ibuprofen. It's been helping the swelling a little bit on my lip, swelling a little bit on my eye, but yeah, I got assaulted yesterday, and in the moment, I didn't deem it in my mind as assault, and yet as this has progressed, it was assault. It's very clearly assault. It's like, I don't know, there's no other way to just describe what it was other than it was just assault. And you guys know, for those of you who follow along, I do the gigs. I do gig life and gigs and all that, and this is a first. This is definitely a first. I have never until this point ever had a situation like what happened yesterday, and it's upsetting and it's frustrating and it's like, it's just obnoxious. Yeah. Oh shit. Oh. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I went to the hospital. Believe it or not, I worked a double yesterday. I still finished my Amazon shift. And the main reason why I went in is, well, the two is, one, yes, I wanted the money. We had what we call a surge shift, which means they're usually shorthanded on people. And so you get paid, it was like $5 or $7 extra on the hour, every hour for just being there. And it was really cool. But I also had the 10:30 shift last night, which means at Amazon, if you're the 10:30 shift, you're the shift that's setting everybody up for the night, which is like it's a really big deal. And I wasn't even sure if I was going to make it last night, but because I was on that shift and scheduled for it, and it was like 2 hours prior, it was like 4 hours prior, no, like 6 hours prior to going into work, this all happened. 6 to 8 hours prior, something like that. And yeah, I don't know. I'm hesitant to speak on too much of it because there was a police report taken. It's just, I don't know if it's officially closed. I have no idea. And my eye itches. Ow, fuck. It hurts. Ow. God. I am, I'm disappointed and I'm frustrated at how the entire situation was handled, and I'm afraid to speak too much on it. There is, for those who follow just on my general, like my main social media Facebook page, have just seen just now pretty much all over Facebook I posted. I just kind of kept it to Facebook for now, but I have posted what has happened on Facebook on the facility that this happened at. I posted a review on their Google reviews and on their Facebook page of what happened and a picture of what had happened, of what has happened. And quite honestly, I don't expect them to reach out. I don't expect them to. I just don't know what it's going to do, if it's going to do anything. It's just that it's upsetting. It's upsetting, and the whole story is not clear to all of you out there. So all of you have no idea really the whole thing that has happened. But I am afraid to say it all in full in case this were to get, I don't know if the cops, they have my number. I gave them my number. If they call me and say, now we see what you've done on Facebook and now this is going to escalate this. I didn't write anything in an escalating way, I don't think. I just was merely putting a review, generally concerned for just people and their children. This facility hosts like literally thousands of children for their sports events. And if this happened to me, just working there, how are your children safe? How are your children safe? How are you safe? I acted as like an employee, right? So the thing is that the one place I haven't contacted yet, which I can, but I think I'm just not going to work with them anymore either, is the Quick app. So if anyone's familiar with the Quick app, it's just, man, I haven't had the greatest experience on there. And the main reason why is because there's a lot, they employ a lot of convicts, and I'm not trying to crap on convicts. I'm not trying to put a bad name on them. They're convicts and they know what they've done, ex-convicts, and there are many, and I've worked around convicts before. Prior to COVID, I worked for a facility called Pro-M, and Pro-M is just notorious for hiring tons and tons of people from halfway houses and ex-convicts and people who are fresh out of jail or prison and just like looking for work. They hire them. I worked around that for like almost a year prior to COVID, and so it's scary. It is. It's scary. Some of you might be thinking, that's scary. Yeah, it's scary sometimes. Sometimes it's really scary. And what sucks is it taught me that in those environments, having longer hair, having sometimes, like my beard wasn't as scruffy all the time, right? I'd shave down, but saying literally looking the way I look at places like that, because there's so many convicts, because there's so many people that they hired and still do. Pro-Am still does this, I'm sure. I did an event, I think the beginning of this year or the end of this last year, and it's just not much had changed, but they group you into the group. They're like, oh, well, you're just guilty, right? Like that's how I got treated so many times at Pro-Am, so many times, by people I didn't know, by people who were managers, who you would think are going to have this professional demeanor and be like, like talk good about the company and kind of lift you up and build you up like most companies, right? No, like not at all. It was a lot of looks like people like just like didn't trust me, and a lot of like it just sucked. It just sucked, and it was like I had dealt with that a number of times there, but I had also dealt with, unfortunately, working around and coaching in a way, like working and coaching and working alongside ex-cons and, you know, people just in really bad situations, and it was scary sometimes, genuinely scary. And yet there is something fulfilling a little bit when those people, when the ones that are really trying, that you see that they're really trying and they're trying to move, just change their life, regardless of whatever they did, it's empowering, and yet it's humbling. It's very humbling. So what happened yesterday doesn't totally shock me, because I've seen the behavior. The behavior that these two gentlemen who assaulted me were giving throughout the day was just, I had seen it. I had worked around it. I've been around that to know, like, and they had verbally mentioned multiple times throughout the day, multiple times throughout the beginning. I had worked there about 6 hours so I was at the event at 1 o'clock yesterday. I started from literally like 1 o'clock until I think it was about 6 o'clock that I got punched in the face. So 6 hours in, like literally almost every hour, these dudes are mentioning that they got out of the joint, that they have been to prison, they went to jail, they worked at nightclubs as bouncers and this and that, and like, you know, just to make money once they got out of jail. And this is like, they just constantly kept trying to let people know, like, oh, this is, you know, and they're tough and this is who they are and blah blah blah, and don't fuck with them. And that's not what provoked it at all. It's just like, I just knew, like, I've worked around it before. I just knew, like, how to work around it, you know. And then what happened is they're drinking too. They were drinking on the job. There was open alcohol in the car, and that did not help the situation, clearly. Yeah. I've been punched in the face before. I've had a shiner. They suck. I've had a shiner before. I've never had my lip busted open in a fight. And do I get in a lot of physical fights? No, I do not. I don't want to harm people. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. And it blows my mind. It shouldn't, but it still does in a way. It blows my mind that grown men will resort to fighting in public to solve shit, when that is like an easy pathway to go into jail, to go into prison, to go, you know, to getting assault charges and this and that, right? Like, that's the quickest way if you want to do that. I had an experience years ago that scared the hell out of me and made me really contemplate that. And I will just share that it was a traffic stop incident where a gentleman was just being absolutely ridiculous on the road, cutting me, like almost hitting my car, flipping me off, doing all this stuff, road rage stuff. Finally, he turned in, he got out and started throwing up his arms at me. I got out. He was talking shit, got in my face, pushed me. I beat the hell out of him. I busted that dude's lip. I busted his lip. That was one of the only times I've ever, like, beat the living crap out of somebody. The cop came and taught me a great lesson that day. And he was like, you don't know if he could have had a gun. You don't know if he could have had a knife. You don't know if he could have killed you on the spot. And you gave, and he like was just telling me, he's like, you gave in by following him up to where he parked at. You could have just drove off and let it go. And so he was gonna convict me with charges, and then he just let me go. He basically scolded me and yelled at me, and that was the only time I think I have ever encountered an officer that it was like a fatherly figure in a moment, in a snap of a moment. It was like, what were you thinking? How stupid of you to do that. Don't ever do that ever again. And he was right. he was right. It just like, that totally changed my mind. It was like, dude, you're right. Like, it scared the living hell out of me. So when I've had these moments arise, it's happened at Pro-Am. I haven't gotten my face beat in there, but before the pandemic, when I worked at Pro-Am, multiple times this similar scenarios happen. And it's like, sometimes it's patrons drinking at the events. Most of the time it's the employees that are there, that who knows what they've been doing before the event, but that are talking trash and they're throwing their hands up, and they don't care. And most of them don't. They've already been to jail. They've already been to prison. They're already at a point where they just don't give a shit. And where it would come back on me, where the managers would be like, well, what is your problem? And I'm like, what are you talking about? What's my problem? What's my problem? What's your guys' problem for letting this happen, right? Like, for letting these employees, for even hiring these employees in the first place, and then looking at me when I have a credential list that's like nothing of what they have, to then be like, well, it's you. No, it's just silly. It's the most obvious, I feel like, in this moment thing to do is to cut ties with all of those places and all those jobs. It sucks because gig life is not like this normally. It's just not. It's not. It can be really fun, and it can be rewarding and exciting, and just not this. It can be not this. But yeah, I'm really grateful that I now have insurance. So I did get approved. I don't know if I mentioned this on this page, but I did get approved for health insurance through the state, which is, it's called Access out here. It is medical insurance for those who cannot afford your standard insurance. And thankfully, because of that, and because of getting help doing that, thank you, Loving Light. Shout out to Loving Light. Thank you for the help on that and provoking the steps towards doing that. Shout out to Loving Light and her roommate as well. They both actually kind of initiated, just helped. They just helped with that. But shit, I don't know what I would have done without that, because the medics that saw me yesterday after this had happened were just like, yeah, you got to get that stitched up within 24 hours or else it can get infected. And yeah. So I am about to go into the gym, and I'm gonna be mostly silent unless I get in the sauna and it's kind of just me. But once we'll see. I don't know. I get socially awkward in the gym, and I don't. Yeah, it just is. But what else was I gonna do? I thought you know what? I was gonna go to the bank. You know, let's do that first. I'll go to the bank, and I'll go to the gym. Turn around here. But is it busy over here? It's a good crowd, I guess. Yeah, I think the obvious thing is to cut ties with those people in those workplaces. And I mean, I'm upset because the guy who was the site manager. The other thing I will add is that he just didn't say a word the entire time the cops were there interviewing me and interviewing everybody and getting stories, because he wasn't there at the moment. He didn't see it. And I understand that. Yet, what was really upsetting is I had met this guy working for this facility once before. And he was a really great guy. And from the moment, literally from the first time I met this guy, he was already offering me a part-time position to work there on the weekends. And I just told him, look, I'm going to stick with Amazon right now. And like, I have my situation set up, but you know, I'd love to still come out and do these like gigs for you guys whenever it pops up on my phone. And yesterday was the chance. That was the opportunity. It was a last minute shift that they were asking help for, and I was like, I'd love to do it. I'd love to go work for them. But now my attitude from that situation is completely shifted, and all I can say is I caution and warn anybody who goes out to, it's called Legacy Sports USA or Legacy Sports Mesa or Legacy Sports Complex. Anybody who is considering going there or taking your kid there for like their soccer event or whatever, there's a bunch of sporting events there. There's a bunch of concerts there. Anybody who goes there, just be warned. Like, a lot of the people on staff, regardless of your thoughts, a lot of them are ex-convicts, and that was clear from the first time I worked there. The first shift, the first time I worked there, when I first met this guy, the manager, at least the site manager that like manages us on what to do for the day. He's not like the facility manager. He's just a site manager, and he has like bosses above him, right? But first time I met him, one of the guys I was working with that he paired me with, this guy would go off about every 15 to 30 minutes and go get high in his car. And he told me he was doing whippets and like, not Adderall, what is it? What is that shit called? It's like, not Quaaludes, it's fentanyl. He was doing fentanyl and shit in his car. Like, he would just walk, I'd watch him. He'd just walk to his car, get high as fuck, come back, be totally out of it, and just keep working. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is nuts. But I don't have to be around that dude. I can just work away from him, right? So that's what I did. And I was like, all right, it's just nuts. It's nuts that that's even a thing, right? Well, I went the wrong way. I'm gonna turn around. So like, I knew the first time, when I say I knew, I mean I knew that from that first experience that, okay, this is a place that can definitely, through the Quick app, may hire people who are like doing terrible things like that on the job, like, and to just be alarmed, oh my God, like, they may not do anything about it. Did I think it was as bad as yesterday though? No, I did not for a second. I did not think it was that bad. And the first guy I worked with, he said he was like a 10-year ex-con or something. He'd been out for like 10 years. Well, then these two guys yesterday, just like I said, every hour basically, just kept like touting to the entire group, like, oh yeah, when I was in prison and this and that, and like, oh, when I got out of the joint and this and that and blah blah. It just got annoying. It got annoying, and I've worked around guys like that where they do that, and it's like, it could be because they're still trying to process it. It could be because that's how they feel accepted too, and I have that awareness, you know. It's just that it's, when it comes to then they go from that to drinking on the job and then swearing at me and verbally saying, oh, I'll fuck you up and I'll beat the shit out of you. And no, like, that's why are they there? Why are you guys employing those kinds of people, you know? But I'm pissed because that site manager basically golf carted me back to my car. The police pretty much told me, hey, look, we can't press charges until, like, there's not enough evidence to press charges, which what you're seeing right here, right? They saw this and they're like, there's not enough evidence. And I told them there's open alcohol in the guy's car right next to the tent. And they did not thoroughly search it at all. But after all that had happened, the cop told me, the few cops over there were like, there's not enough evidence and we don't have a clear story of what happened. So right now we can't press charges. But they took my number down and they're like, if anything changes, we'll call you, right? I don't think anything's gonna change from yesterday until right now. It's just silly. That's silly. That's crazy to me. And I don't know what happened to those two employees, and I feel confident to say that I don't think they fired them. I don't think they parted ways with them. Those employees made it clear that they work there every weekend. They're not employees through the company. They're employees through the Quick app. But Rick, the site manager, the guy I'm talking about, he tries to keep the Quick app people that come consistently, he'll go to them first, right? So to me, it's like, oh, you guys are just buddy and you're looking out for your buddies because you want to have them come back and work for you next weekend and blah blah blah. And like, it was bullshit. But Rick golf carted me over to my car, didn't say a word the whole fucking time, and then the only thing he said as I got off the cart was, get that lip fixed. That's it. Not, I'm sorry this happened to you. Not, the facility, on behalf of the facility, I apologize. Like, what do you need to be cared for? Like, are you okay? Nothing. Not one of those. The officers did consistently throughout the process, even though they told me there's not enough evidence and there's not a clear story, which is really frustrating. They were respectful in the sense that they were like, are you okay? The medics were like asking, am I okay? Am I okay to drive? This and that. The whole time, even when when he golf carted me over and it was just me and him, not, I'm sorry, not on behalf of the facility, nothing. Not a thing. Just said, get that lip fixed. It's like, really? That's it? That's all you're going to leave me with is your two guys just assaulted me and they're drinking and I pointed everything out and then that's it, so yeah, it's super frustrating. And I hope that the facility does something. I hope that people are aware that when they go there, just know, like, just because the people are working there, or like if they're at tents working parking, which is, I was working parking, there's also employees that they have through the Quick app that work on the site, like as in inside the building. They have security that is like, I'll put it this way, the security is not through the Quick app. The security works at Legacy Sports. Rick works at Legacy Sports. All the people that I worked with yesterday worked through the Quick app for Legacy Sports. There's a bunch of other employees that work in the building through the Quick app for Legacy Sports. They are around your children. They're serving food to you and your children. They're like ex-cons is what I'm saying. They have ex-cons all littered throughout that fucking place that are doing all of these things, so is it terrible of me to say that about them? And one of the officers kind of, he's like, just because they're an ex-con doesn't, one of the officers made a comment like that. He's like, because they're an ex-con, it doesn't mean anything. And I'm like, well, no, it sort of does. It sort of does mean that they're, that they've done something and they have, that this wouldn't be out of their nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucked up, but it's also not. Like, that's how I feel about it. It's not when it's my face getting punched in, when it's somebody getting assaulted at the building, that's when it's like, well, yeah, and look at the evidence, look at the actual evidence. So pretty much all the guys at the tent, there was 5 of us, me, 2 guys, and then the 2 convicts. The 2 other guys, to my knowledge, basically the cops were just saying that they sided with the 2 convicts and were like, oh yeah, you were verbally assaulting them and then you assaulted them and you started it. And I'm like, oh my fucking god. Like, sure, okay, all right, okay. Even though, and then that's what I told him. I'm like, even though there's alcohol in the car, there's open alcohol in the car, my face is beat up, all I did was call Rick over, and that's it, you know? So it's upsetting. It's very upsetting. It's very frustrating. This is very much doesn't feel zen right now. Calm zen. This is just me. You know, this is where I'm at right now with it. And I was doing a lot more swearing yesterday. I was very upset, and I don't know what else to do other than to just heal and just tell people on Facebook, like I've already done, just to stay away from there if they can. I don't expect Rick or the facility to reach out to me. The only people that I'm wondering if they'll ever reach out is the police that was there that took the report. You know, and if they do, and if they mention what I posted on their Facebook and the reviews and all that, all I did was give a very plain review of like, look, just don't take you and your children there. It's just not safe. It's not safe. That, like, if you have the foreknowledge of that, you might reconsider that. You might reconsider going to an event, and maybe you won't. Maybe you're just like, I don't care. Who cares? It gives the convicts jobs, and they're still people too. Great. Okay. And just be warned. Be warned that this could be you. And in the same situation of, well, why don't you arrest them? They just beat my face in, and they're drinking alcohol. And instead of that, just, well, sorry, we can't press charges at this moment. Like, it's fucked up. It's really fucked up. It's unfair. It's unjust. And I just thought of a funny, like, thing in my head that I should just put on the bat signal tonight and let Batman fucking handle it. Where are you at, Batman? Fucking Batman needs to handle this right now. Where are they? Where are they? God. Alright, I gotta go pull some money out. I'll be right back, guys. Hang tight. assaulted. Getting there. Thank you, Robert. Oh, I forgot the camera was on. I'm sitting here talking to myself. Oh, that's right, because it charges the fee. That's right, guys. I talk to myself a lot of the time. That was embarrassing. My side, like my temple right here, hurts. It really hurts. My neck too, like right in here. The good news is that the hospital last night did a CAT scan. They did a, what is that? What the hell? I didn't even know I had that either. Look at that. That's from yesterday too. Nope. Jesus, dude. I wouldn't doubt it if there's like a mark on my head, because I did feel... Oh, and he pulled my hair. The guy freaking pulled my hair. I was losing like... I had to like literally like pull a chunk of hair out yesterday. He was freaking grabbing my hair and trying to punch me. And it was just like, oh my God. But the good news is that no, there's no fractures, no broken bones. They did a CAT scan. They even actually, I had an old fracture on my hand, on my left hand, from like a decade ago that healed, and through a lot of the stuff I share with you guys, and then there's stuff I haven't, but like cranial sacral therapy, polarity therapy, energy therapies, massage therapy, like essential oils and CBD and cannabis, in my opinion, cannabis. Bunch of stuff, bunch of therapies and like treatments that got anyone who fights or knows about boxers, they get boxer's hand where they punch and you get a bump on your fist right here. And you can kind of see it. It's hard to like show you with the camera, but pretty much it's like right here. You can't really tell possibly that much, but like it's a bump on your fist. Well, it kind of popped out again yesterday, but the doctor's like, no, that looks like an old fracture. My hand, they're just sore. My hands are sore, but they were very nice. The people at the hospital were very nice, very, very nice, and treated me very well and did everything, you know, as graciously as possible. It sucked because when they put the frickin' needle in my lip, oh my God, dude. He was very honest. The guy was like, so they put a numbing agent. I don't know what it was, but I mean, he had the needle. It was a big ass needle, and he's just like, he was very honest. He's like, this is going to hurt. Like, that's it. And they just stuck it. Boom. 3 times. One on the side, one on this side, right in the middle. The middle one hurt. He just did it right in the middle of my lip and just jammed it in there. And then within seconds, I couldn't even feel the bottom of my mouth. And yeah, so it's time to heal. It's time to heal. I don't feel completely over this yet, and I don't feel like I have, like, even last night was weird because I just hadn't processed it. My mind just hadn't processed like everything that happened, and everyone at Amazon was really nice too about it. Everyone at Amazon was very gracious last night and like caring and like, hey, you know, like, are you okay? And what happened? And one of the employees that I talk with, he was like telling me that he was upset and he was like, I want to go fight them. Let's go fight them. Let's go find them and beat the shit out of them, you know? And I do too, honestly. Like, that's the side of me that I don't always show you guys is, yes, do I really want to like give into the rage and go fight them and find them and be revengeful? And yes, absolutely, absolutely. And am I going to do that? No, I'm not going to do that because it's going to make it worse for me, you know? It's going to make it worse. It's just going to make the whole situation worse. And yeah. Let's go to the gym. Let's go get in the sauna, go to the gym, and shower up. Oh, my hair looks goofy right now. I was pissed too. I was like, dude, I was thinking to myself yesterday, I just got my hair done. I sound like a girl, but I was like, I just got my damn hair done. I just got my hair cut, and you're ripping my damn hair out. What the hell is wrong with you, guy? What's frustrating too is that both of the guys that assaulted me, as soon as the cops showed up, as soon as they came over, these guys went from like the beginning of the situation to running their mouth, saying all these really just terrible things, and to then when the cops show up, nothing, just put their head down, looking off, you know, like nothing happened, and like clear signs of being guilty, clear signs. And to my knowledge, nothing was done to them, you know. So it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. It's annoying to watch two guys go from thinking they're hot shit and badass to then the cops show up and it's like, look what happened. Now the cops are here. Is that enough for you guys to see that you're being jackasses and being stupid? You know? Let alone that I'm like now scaring the shit out of anybody. Anywhere I go, people look at my face right now and they're just like, what happened? What is wrong? And you know? Shit. It like hurts to laugh too much, actually. Like, smiling and laughing too much actually kind of hurts my lip a little bit. So I believe I do have to end the stream here because I have to I have my EOS card on my phone. I don't have an actual like handheld card to scan in, and it is on my phone. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for those of you who have already, I've seen a bunch while the stream is already on and even before the stream, of people who are commenting on Facebook about the posts I posted. Please, if you watch this and you see that post, just understand it is to just keep you and your family safe. It is me venting about the situation and getting it out and processing it, and it's frustration, and it's anger, and it's also to keep anybody out there safe from ever dealing with any of this and feeling like there's just an unjust, and hopefully it does something. I don't know. I kind of saw it in my head too. I was like, wow, like, because people were laughing yesterday, which that hurt. It hurt. Like, people, like, I'm literally getting my face smashed, and the guy beat the shit out of me. It's embarrassing to even admit that. The guy both of them beat the shit out of me. One of them, just the white dude, basically just stopped and just sat down, while the other guy, the black guy, just kept trying to punch me, and I got my ass kicked. You know, I still was able to stand and pick myself up and freaking call the guy over with a bloody lip and barely see out of this eye yesterday, and like, because I had to. That's the thing. That's the shitty part. This is what I'm saying, is that's also unsafe about it, is that I had to. Literally, patrons were laughing at me while this guy's just punching my face, and the other employees that were sitting at the tent were just laughing. Like, they're all laughing, and I'm getting punched and just trying to say, call the cops, call Rick, call somebody. It's embarrassing to admit that. It's shitty, and it hurts. It's like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And then I kind of played this out in my head while I was sitting there and the cops were talking to me. I was afraid that they were going to arrest me. That was a huge fear. And then I was also afraid that everybody walking by, I was a minority. There was a lot of Hispanic people. There was a lot of African Americans. I was one of the minorities of white people there. So it was frustrating, because I'm like, well, what the hell is this? Like, and people were laughing. People were just walking by laughing, like, that's not okay. It's just not. It's not okay. It's not safe. That's fucking terrible. And it just feels unjust. The whole thing feels unjust, and it feels like the only people I haven't contacted that I need to contact, and I'm going to after the gym, and I'm going to write something to them, is the Quick App people, which I'm not expecting anything from them either. That's the thing. I had it in my head. What I posted on my Facebook, I genuinely, and on Legacy Sports Facebook page, on the reviews and on their Google reviews, I kind of just expected a bunch of people to comment and say, well, maybe, like just stupid stuff, and just point it back at me. And it's like, no, like, you don't understand. If this happened to me as a supposed employee, right, like a technically contracted through Quick employee, this could happen to literally anybody there. They could assault people there. They could this is really extreme. They're ex-convicts. They could rape a kid. They could beat the shit out of a mom or a family. They could steal their shit, like, I'm not saying those happen. I'm just saying, example A, like, example B was their fucking car yesterday with all the alcohol in it. But I'm pissed. Things are gonna get better, and I'm gonna figure this out, and I'm gonna process it in my time, and I'm gonna heal, and I'm gonna focus on myself and heal. And I'm just having my moment. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Thank you for reaching out. It means a lot. It means so much in this time. And take care. Thanks for tuning in.